Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities, work our way through the dollar yields, precious metals, and commodities ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinions, and if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com, where I dive deeper into all of this and into individual companies where I really start to peel away at what I think are good risk reward opportunities and or very large upside asymmetric bets. We do have a discount coupon code still going on, Mayday, M-A-Y-D-A-Y, one word. Mayday is the coupon code if you're looking for a discount. So let's dive in here. Let's take a look and see what we've got going on today. Looks like that we got a weaker DXY. And again, this still could be postured for a move lower. I know. It's not 100% in the bag, though. Could this be a flag pattern that we're just stair-stepping lower here, potentially? The reason I say that is because we're getting a pretty big down candlestick today. It could be considered or is very close to a bearish engulfing pattern. And those are generally moves that end up lower. We do have a lot of support underneath us. So I don't know if we're going to bust through this support region down here where we've got a horizontal support and a trend line going across this way. So we could go a little bit lower. I think that's still in the cards. We could end up somewhere down there, probably resting on support, and we'll have to see how the trading action trades when we get down there, if we get down there. Now, yields are mucking the water up a little bit here. We're not getting that confluence of information that I normally like to see. We're back within this pattern. It is a rising wedge, this guy there. We popped out, and is this a retest where we go lower? If that is the case, what we'll see is we'll see precious metals go up. We will see the dollar generally goes down. And that's kind of what the dollar is posturing for. It's in a situation where it looks like it could go lower. So it makes me think that the 2-year yield could roll over and go lower. We do have a rising wedge here, and we are up against a little bit of resistance basically where we're at. But that doesn't mean it's 100% in the bag. This very well could rip higher for whatever reason you want to give it. So we'll continue to watch it and see what exactly is going on. So looking at the 10-year yield, we've got something very similar going on, but this looks a little bit more bullish for the 10-year. It looks like this could try to work its way on up. We've got lots of selling pressure in this circle there. And then we've got buying pressure showing up here. Now, it isn't as strong as it was on the sell side here. And it came and bounced off support. The support is that horizontal support level. There it is. So are we going to come back to support and then rip, or are we going to punch through and head lower? I'll be honest, guys, I don't have that answer for you. I am trying to figure that out. And it's a big deal to figure this out. We very well could come back to a level down here, kind of in an A, B, C correction, or maybe it only comes down to here or something, whatever it is. I'm kind of in the corrective camp in the short term. I do think they might lower rates at some point in the future. So that's kind of where I'm at. It doesn't mean I'll be right, though. And then the 30-year yield, we're back to support. So we're sitting on support. And this still, I mean, it doesn't look bad. This could very well bottom out here and start working its way on up. So I'm trying to wait and see what direction this is going to go. And I think the markets are trying to price this all in. We're seeing a lot of volatility in the stuff that we're in the past few trading sessions. And I think a lot has to deal with where yields will eventually end up going. So to me, I'm kind of holding my judgment. I'm just waiting. The 2-year yield is the one that I'm watching. And then I'm looking for a potential rollover, but this very well could go up. I mean, it doesn't look too bad here on the weekly candlestick with the big bullish engulfing that we got today. So we'll see where we go. TYX, TNX, this is a ratio that I basically put up. I use it to determine where gold is generally going to go. And you go from a low level up, a low level up, and then a low level up. And that's generally where gold goes, is when the yield curve uninverts, when it goes up like that, or it goes sideways, gold starts ripping it. And that's where we're at. We're in a great spot for gold and silver to really take off. Bond prices, basically sideways today. Another one that's just been moving sideways. Now, this looks like it wants to go up. I'm looking at these bullish engulfings here. And we're at a ton of support. The support here is all this back here. So we've got a lot of support. We're in this mucky area where we've traded a lot of volume. So I'm in the camp that this could go up, and that means that yields will go down. Bond prices up, yields down. The 2 and 10-year, we're continuing to invert, where the 2-year went up today and the 10-year went down a little bit. And we're just sitting up here inverted. Higher for longer, I guess Powell is correct. So yields are continuing to hang out here. And generally when yields uninvert, gold goes ballistic. That's what it likes. Oil can still go up here. We could still stay up here for a while. And oil could rip. We could be even higher for longer. And right now, I can't tell you what direction we're necessarily going to go. I'm trying to wait and see how this is going to play out, because we could be in a tech bubble, so to speak. The yield curve uninverts, comes back to a level, or did what we did in 2000. So here is 90s. So we went up here in 2000. We were inverted. Then we came back, and then we went right back up in 2003. We came back and turned up. I think this is going to occur, but again, I don't know the future, and that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out is, are we actually going to break lower, or are we going to stay inverted, go sideways, and this bull market of commodities plays out with the inverted yield curve for a very long time? We've got gold slightly lower. It's hanging in there, but again, guys, I do think that the momentum is still pressuring this downward. We're back to some support coming through here, and we'll see if it holds. Silver is up a little bit, but again, the momentum is heading lower at this time, and it has not reversed yet. We are coming back to support at that $30 level here. We could find it, and we very well could rally off of that, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a potential bottom here and a rally higher. We're kind of early to say that this is turned already, but that's what we're looking for. We're looking for potential support. We're looking for a potential turn so we can head back higher. And it could happen very quickly and very violently. That's why I don't trade in and out of silver. But looking bigger picture view, we've broken through the big pattern. It is definitely momentum upward on the longer time frame basis. Platinum up $7. Again, we've got momentum heading lower, so that hasn't turned yet. That momentum is still pressuring it lower. We do not have a reversal candlestick yet, and we are right at that resistance level trying to break through. Palladium down a little bit, and we are trying to put in a bottom here. That's what we're doing. This whole thing's a big bottom. And I also put this on a logarithmic long-term scale here. And that's kind of what I'm seeing in palladium. We've got a lot of support underneath us. That's what this horizontal line is. And we also have a trend line that is below us. And you could draw it up here. There's a lot of support through this trend about in here. So we've got a trend, kind of a band of support coming through below us. So we're probably going to hold here at least for a while. And then we'll see if we can put in a bottom and start to turn higher. That's kind of what I'm looking at. Our boy XAU versus gold and silver mining companies versus gold. We're up today. Gold and silver mining companies outperforming gold. And this looks good. I mean, we are coming through. We're breaking out here. It looks pretty solid, in my opinion, here. So, again, we broke through it. I am ultra bullish, and I am looking for a move that will extend higher. CRB index just moving sideways, 0.17, and we are holding our ground, moving sideways. It still looks good to go higher here, guys. We have a higher low, and now we've got a higher high. So it's almost like someone's trying to hold this thing down. But we'll see. We do have on the short term some more stronger selling pressure than buying pressure. We very well could roll over and move on sideways. CRB versus S&P 500 down slightly today, and we're still in this pattern here, this downward sloping channel. GDX up 1.5%. We'll probably hit this support level here soon. We still have downside momentum, no significant bounce on any of these, and that's up against resistance here. There's that horizontal resistance for GDXJ. We're up trying to get through it. We're encountering some resistance. SILJ also, same setup. No real difference there. Crude oil up 1.12%. Not a bad looking candlestick today. It's not great. It's not a reversal candlestick, but I'm looking at this flag pattern down, and rates and crude oil, they are kind of interconnected. So if rates do go down, we could potentially see a selling pressure move to the downside at some point in the future. It's definitely still in the cards. Don't worry about this blue fractal here. Let me get rid of it real quick. And that's kind of what we're looking at. Now, if you look at the supply demand for oil is really good. Supply is projected to not keep up with demand later this year, and we could see inventory draws towards the second half of the year. That is all speculation, but that's kind of what some people are talking about that I follow. So we'll see if that occurs. TTF gas down a little bit today, 3.24%. Does look like we could get a little bit of a pullback in the short term for TTF gas. Natural gas in America also down about 5%. Looks like we're getting a little bit of a pullback in nat gas. We could head a little bit lower here in the short term. Momentum is starting to build. And we're up against a lot of resistance over here. So we're getting kind of weighed on through that resistance there. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, coming right back to that headline. We're squeezing up into the corner here. What does that all mean? I don't think it really means all that much. I think it means that it still looks good. We've got the shoulder, head, shoulder. We zoom in, and you can see the two small candlesticks. That looks very good to go higher. If that goes higher, I would expect to see interest rates go higher. So who's going to be right here? Is gold and silver going to go up along with interest rates? Totally possible. Is XOP going to fall? Well, how come we're not seeing evidence of that yet? This, to me, looks like it's squeezing up, ready to break to the upside. But, again, we'll have to wait and see which way it breaks. OIH also, slight update today. But to me, this still has some selling pressure weakness existing in the energy service stocks, and maybe we come back to test that support level. And if I were to extend this out, maybe the low, 305-ish area there. Looking at Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, we're up today. But again, guys, this doesn't possess that explosive nature. It doesn't mean it can't go up, but some big selling pressure, small weak moves, some bigger selling pressure. That still looks like it wants to go lower. It does not look strong to me at this time. It looks like we want to go a little bit lower before we go on up. URA up 1.78%. It's holding on support. We'll see if that support holds. We've got URNM also right on support, and we'll see if it holds. We've got good downside pressure, and we're right on support. URNJ also just moving sideways. We could see it turn, very well could, but the buyer's got to come in here and make it happen. URNJ versus URNM still have not broken out, unfortunately. It's moving sideways. I'm watching this because if the juniors start to break, guys, I'm going to be ultra bullish on the juniors. TAN up 5.23%. Looks like this is getting some legs underneath it. We could see a big move here in TAN. We've broken the downtrend line, and this is looking pretty good for a move higher. HG, which is copper. Man, look at these charts. We got these ugly looking candlestick. It's a single candlestick there. And then we just have small little, selling pressure. So we had a big move out of this, and this is consolidating at this time is what I'll say. Kind of a funky looking chart here. It's weird that we have such a large candlestick right there. But we'll see if there's any follow through. This very well could sell off further. COPX up a little bit. Momentum's to the downside still. We do have support all through here underneath us. We've got lithium up 1%, still below its resistance level. And you can also draw this across this way. That's a very strong resistance level there at about 46.25. REMX working its way higher today, but the momentum is to the downside. We also have this structure here that it's pointed upward to some degree, and that's generally not a good thing. You want to see structures that are bullish pointing downward, like that, or like this. You don't want them pointing upward like that. That's generally a bearish stance. Like this is bearish because it's pointing upward. So that's still pointing upward to some degree. Do we still have some sort of selling pressure that's left in this thing? Very well could. Like a capitulation sell-off bottom almost. SPX, it's got this ugly looking candlestick yesterday. Now we have a smaller update today. We'll have to see what this trades like, but this looks very similar to like candlestick that looks like this that ends up lower. So that's kind of what I think will occur. It's probably a move lower still. NASDAQ also, a lot of the times you get these big bearish engulfing patterns like this. They can go sideways for a little while, and then they kind of poop out. And then we've come back up, and we've got another bearish engulfing here, which I'm going to have to say is probably going to go lower over the short to medium term. And then the Russell 2000, it was up 1%. This still does not look good to me. Looks like we want to fall. What we have is we got a big selling pressure move out of the rising wedge. We came back up into a bearish engulfing. That makes me think that we want to go lower in the short term for the Russell 2000. KRE, back to support. We had higher yields today, right? Yeah, it was mixed today. The yields were kind of mixed, but we just went sideways today for KRE. If yields go up, KRE is most likely going to go lower. Emerging markets, sideways yields, just sideways today. But we don't like seeing the big bearish candlestick. Makes me think that yields could go up and we could get a return move back here. XHB up a little bit, but again, the momentum's to the downside. Whenever you get these posturings that are upward like this, generally you get a move lower. So XHB, home builders, we could still see some pressure in it, and we do have support down here at about 96 bucks if we were to get that low. MOO just moving sideways. Could still see a little bit downside pressure if yields strengthen. but we are at support, just moving sideways. Iron ore, this does look like it's working its way on up, still looks good. In the big megaphone / accumulation cylinder pattern. We've got nickel down 2.45%. I still think this looks good though, and I am biased for it to drift higher. Aluminum up 1.6% today, and I'm in the camp that the momentum is still drifting higher, so it still looks good. Baltic Dry Index down a little bit. We're back to support level. We could be there for a little bit. We've got coal up 1.34%. I think this looks really good. I think there's coal opportunities here, boys. That's what I think. Looks pretty good, downtrend, broken, and I would be posturing for a move higher in coal. BTC still looking good, up 1.73, doing retest things. I would buy the retest and ride it higher. So I do think this could potentially go higher for the short term. Ethereum down 1%, but it's not a huge selling pressure day. I still am biased for this to go higher. No reversal candlestick. Here's your pattern, your 3-hump consolidation in the dead period. Breakout. Boom. So, yeah, looks good. SMCI up 4%. This is still postured for a move higher. And NVIDIA, going to take a look there, up 2.5%. Still looks good to go on up. Is this gap going to be filled? Probably maybe out in the future, but maybe not in the short term. We'll see. Pretty big move there. So that's what we got for today, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website. We still have May Day coupon code. We've got a question and answer session tomorrow, which is Saturday at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. I'm going to be covering these bull markets and commodities. How do I know we're in a bull market? How do I know that we're in the right market conditions? What's the data look like? I'm going to show everybody what the data looks like. We'll go over ratios. We'll go over technical analysis. We'll go over how the markets are positioning. We'll go over real estate cycle, inventory levels, how that correlates with a lot of the ratios. We'll go over all of it. And then you'll see what it looks like. You can make your own decisions. You can see when it's time to sell and when it's time to buy. And I'll show you some data that correlates with other times in history and when commodity bull markets start. Commodity bull markets in the beginning and even in the stock markets in the beginning can sometimes be rough because they consolidate, they move sideways, they create larger patterns, or they're in stage 1 bases going into stage 2, and we'll go over all that. So I'm trying to get you guys the confidence that we're in a bull market, what a bull market looks like, what the technical analysis looks like in a bull market, and when it is time to finally exit the positions. Because I know some people have questions on when do we sell this stuff. And I could, I understand their position because some of these companies are up multiple hundreds of percents. Some of them are up thousands of percents. And you might say, well, is it time to buy or time to sell? It makes sense. But we'll go over that tomorrow, and we'll get you more information on that. All right, guys, that's what I've got for today. We'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.